Hello, everybody. Gonna fix something. Gotta turn on the 3 gazillion spots. Including the on-air sign. And here we are. And I'm a little late. I installed the air conditioning in my office in a record 25 minutes because it was too hot. It was like my office was like at past the 80s. So I thought, okay, let's put the air conditioning. Okay. Paul was sleeping in this chair actually just minutes before I started the live stream. So cheers, vodka, cranberry. Nice to have all of you here. Humidity isn't too bad. It's actually, it says 20% outdoors, so it's quite dry, but it's supposed to be like close to 30 degrees for the next week. So, whatever. And when I work in my office, the thing that I don't like is being hot. I want to be comfortable. So, nice to have all of you here. So I was looking at the clock. And I was like, wow. There's a little reflection I don't like here. Let's try to have that fixed a little. There we go. This is better. There we go. So, 20% is very low for here, because usually it's like Florida weather in the summer. It's hot and humid all the time. So I was looking at the clock and putting up the air conditioning. I was like, okay, gotta hurry. Okay, one tape here, one tape there. It's gonna be nice. It's gonna be fun for now. I'll fix the rest after. So I know I'm having air conditioning cooling. We'll see how it goes. But it's summer. I wanted to do the show outside, and I did not because it's too hot or anything, because outside is actually a little better, but because there's too much wind. When I started looking at setting up outside, there was a lot of wind, and I was like, oh man, that's going to create tons of noise. So I reverted to changed my mind. I'm going to wait till another day when it's actually much more, less windy. Nice, beautiful day. We'll have plenty of those. I mean, it's just May. You got June, July, August, and even September usually is pretty summery. So, when it's gonna be, because it's not most of the time it's not windy. So, when it's gonna be less windy. It's sad because today there's like wind, but there was like the rest of the week is getting quiet. So next week, you know what? There's supposed to be some really nice, beautiful weather also. So I'm pretty sure next week we're gonna have a couple of shows from outside. It's been a long time. So hey everybody, welcome aboard. This is the Shortwave show. Let me just pop out the chat. Sorry if you guys saw my post appear many times on Facebook. For some reason, there was a error message when I was posting the link, and it said that it didn't post, and in reality, it posted about 10 times. So that was like, what the hell is happening? For the rest, we are here, and here, and here. So this is the Shortwave show. This is a show about radio. We are here twice a week and try to entertain, listen to the radio. This is a radio. It's not something on the internet. And we, of course, are here on Wednesday at 8 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. Pacific. That's 0 UTC, UT Thursday. So a big chunk of the world is in Thursday, actually, on that show. And Friday at 4 p.m. Eastern, 1 p.m. Pacific. That's 20 UTC. And I hope that you enjoy our sorry guys. So that's fun. I just got to notice that there is a security breach on one of the accounts of the things that I do. Thank you very much. I'll need to change the password. Oh, man. We have Elizabeth saying hi from Regina, Saskatchewan. And we have Gordon Lyle saying hello, tuning in, but not in the chat. He's on his way back from a 30-mile road bike ride. So he's our Mr. Biker here. And so this is nice. I saw that picture. It reminded me of Perry Island when I would go there using my bike. Perry Island, going and coming back is about 25 kilometers, maybe. 25 to 30 kilometers, which is a nice bike ride. So, yes, this is a show about radio. We are here twice a week, like I said. There's a beautiful chat room, wonderful people that are here to talk about radio, answer a question. It's a great bunch. It's the place where if you were shy and not asking those questions because you thought that maybe it was, there were stupid questions or anything. Well, first of all, just, there's no stupid questions. And basically, this is the best place for that because this is the place where you have everybody that is super cool and likes to answer new questions, newbie questions, and even experts. Oh, Gordon Lyle is in the chat finally. So it's nice to know that there's some great people around here. And there's a Facebook group that goes with this. So when all of this live stuff is over, you don't have to feel alone, feel left off, feel like there's no more. You have the possibility of going to the Facebook group, same name as this channel, official SWL channel. And hope that you enjoy that also. It's a great group. We're almost at 900 members, almost. Going fast. Soon we're going to be at 1,000. Crazy. So great fun. People are super cool, sharing things they're listening to, asking questions. Hey, where do I find this? How do I find that? How many people we help with little problems they had, and we actually help them fix them and they're happy. And I mean, this group is fantastic. And I want to say that it's thanks to all of you guys, by the way, because I mean, without great people, you cannot have a great group. Okay, Matt from sunny and warm Denver, Colorado, 83.7 Fahrenheit, 28.7. It's roughly what we're having here in temperature. Outside, it is actually my thermometer says 31 Celsius outside, but it's probably closer to like 29 around the temperature you're talking about. So that's roughly the same weather, but it's very like I said, it's one of those dry days, which is not too bad, because when it's too humid, it's really, really crazy. And Montreal tends to be very humid, especially since the city of Montreal, for those that don't know, is actually on an island. Montreal is surrounded by water. We have the St. Lawrence River to the south, and we have the Rivière des Prairies on the north. And but it's not just that makes it humid. It's also the fact that a lot of our heat, when it's hot in the summertime, when we get really, really warm weather, a lot of that comes from down the Gulf of Mexico all the way up the East Coast. That brings humidity everywhere, including to Montreal. So, you know, it's Florida weather. I still remember a chat, the first ever chat I did on the internet on an IRC channel. And there were people from all over the world there, and we would talk. And I remember being amazed that we could talk live in real time. And this guy from Norway, you know, says, "Oh well, you know, Canada's cold and there's snow all the time." And I told the guy, I said, "No, well, there's not snow all the time. The far north, yes, but here." Actually, Montreal and, you know, the southern part of Canada, I was telling him, I said, you know, here it could be minus 25 Celsius in the winter easily, but it could be plus 30 Celsius like tropical weather in the summer easily also. And we have those extremes. It's not, you know, it's for Montreal, it's normal to have 30-degree weather in the summer. It's also normal to have minus 25-degree weather in the winter. And I remember his reply was, "How can you live in a country with such extremes?" So it's just funny. Kevin Jane Apollo, WS2H from Point Pleasant Beach, New Jersey. Ekadarius, nice to have you on board. Paul saying, "Where's my Scooby snacks? Where are my Paul snacks?" Bobby Burgess, nice to have you here from Morgan City, Louisiana. WA5107 is WL. And he's listening to Trunk Radio Mode because an inmate escaped the city jail. Ho ho. Mark Cope, nice to have you here from Dallas, Texas. WA5153 is WL. Jeff Williams, nice to have you here from Southwest Cornwall. Garden Lyle on his 30-plus mile road bicycle ride. That's always fun. Mad Boy, nice to have you here. Iman Oderty, nice to have you here from Glasgow, Scotland. Nick Amendout from Romania, nice to have you here. Liam Connellan, nice to have you on board. Terry Cook from Western Montana, KF7BQ. Rob in Phoenix, Arizona. Crittenden Tuttle 4, KJ7NUX, nice to have you here from Oregon. What else do we have? Oh, so sad, Iman. August Alley Crafter's Kitchen. Nice to have you on board from Massachusetts. Aiden Saylor. Nice to have you here, Aiden, from North Carolina. May you rest in peace, Coco the cat. I will cry my heart out when Paul the cat goes away. Rufus Newt from the toasty Laurentian Valley, Ontario. About time. Funniest part is, that's what I was saying to Sheldon while we were recording the International Radio Report this afternoon. We came from like winter to summer with pretty much nothing in between. I mean, it's still incredible that it was snowing in the first week of May. So, you know, it's like, wow. So we really went from like winter to summer. There's no transition this year. Pretty crazy. Rufus says the one who runs the channel is Paul. Yeah, I have to follow Paul's orders every day because he's going to kick me out of the house. René Charbonnier, nice to have you here. PA0057SWL, nice to have you on board from the Netherlands. Arjun, nice to have you here from Cyprus. PLF Radio, bonjour et bienvenue de la France. C'est un plaisir de t'avoir parmi nous. I'm Brawler from Arkansas. Nice to have you here. Tom DXer from the lower Hudson Valley, New York. PA1SBM. Nice to have you here, Alex from the Netherlands. Dijon is here from Bavaria, Germany. Nice to have you here. Stephen Wood from Cape Cod. Craig Guthrie. Nice to have you here. Stephen Hayes. Nice to have you here. Glenn Zeckman from Tennessee. Catalan, nice to have you on board. Do LEDs make noise? It depends. If you're talking about the big LED bulbs, so that's what I use here for the lighting while I do the live show. I have Philips branded bulbs, and they have pretty much zero noise. You will notice a little bit of noise if you put the radio next to the lamp. It's gonna be a little noisy, but they're amazingly quiet, and really like the bulbs. At first I was scared because when I purchased the first bulbs for the lighting, I think it took 3 weeks for the first bulb to blow up, and I was like, what? LED bulbs, it says 5 years on the package at least, and 3 weeks it's already, but I probably was a defective one because the other ones have been perfect since. I would guess they probably, we don't notice it because it's very, very, very small increment at the time, but I'm pretty sure they probably are dimming over years of use. They probably dim and slowly are less and less, giving out, all the lighting. Cyberflyer1, nice to have you here. Looking forward for the show. Cool. Ecadarius, distinction when you want to do a live stream. Paul sleeps in your chair. Just a thought. Yep. Rick, W8PRR in Ohio. Nice to have you here. WOHP 1390. Bonjour, Eric Cottrell. Nice to have you on board from Massachusetts. I like to pronounce your name in French. Eric Cottrell. That's nice. What else do we have? So Matt is going to get his haircut. The hippie days are over. I'm not too bad. I mean, it's a little long, but I'm not too bad because I was fortunate that by accident I had my haircut in the week before they closed everything. So here in Montreal, the stores that have a door on the street will be able to open starting Monday. First step in slowly bringing things to normal. The barbershops or anything for a haircut are staying closed in Montreal. They are opening in the rest of the province, but because Montreal is a big problem with COVID-19, in Montreal, it's still not allowed. And now everybody's going crazy because the city announced that 1,200 kilometers of streets are going to be for bikes and for people that are going to walk. So pedestrians. And so a lot of people with their cars are saying, what do you mean I can't use my car on those streets? And they say it's to kind of help people go out this summer because they're realizing that people will be spending a lot of their summer in the city. So they're trying to make the city better for social distancing and having people go out and enjoy time and beautiful weather in the summer. Elo CR, nice to have you here from Belgium. Zachary Owens, nice to have you here from with Cathy. Nice to have you, Zach and Cathy. Craig Guthrie says it's like winter in Glasgow. Rufus Newt, 51% here and 29. Jim and Robert Milligan, nice to have you here from Alberta. Been going well. We had a really beautiful week. I mean, beautiful weather to go outside and have some radio outside. Really cool. What else do you have? Roberto Rojas. Nice to have you here from Brazil. Really nice to have all of you on board. Rob says an outside show would be great. It's going to come. I mean, we have summer's barely starting here, so we're going to have time for some outside shows. And I really want to try at least one or two outdoor, maybe in the park or at Perry Island or something, shows that I will be streaming with my phone. I think that could be really a lot of fun. So this is going to be nice. Trond, nice to have you here from Norway. Brian Penny, nice to have you on board from Cape Cod, Massachusetts. Time to hit the beaches. Yeah, they're not open here. I don't know when they're going to open beaches, but for now, it's still pretty much a lockdown. They said that they are selling swimming pools like crazy this year. I guess every neighbor will have a pool. James Farley, nice to have you here from New Jersey. Lee Burkett, nice to have you on board, Lee. And I've been trying to post, my friend, but Facebook wouldn't allow me to post sites I don't manage. Oh, weird. But there's been a problem with Facebook, because I've seen a few of you posting and it's showing up like multiple times, and I think it's giving an error message. And I know it's not the group, because when I tried in another group, it did the same. So there's some kind of weird problem with Facebook. Sephiroth 86, nice to have you on board from Germany. And Rufus almost has everything for RSP1A. Cool. Everybody saying hello to Elizabeth. Radfulman 336, nice to have you here. And 8UCN from Southwest Ohio. Always cool to have you on board. Good weather, and I can do some shortwave before going back to work. No, it's not, Eric. I was looking, and it's a real deal thing from. They're mentioning the website where it happened, and they don't give a link. They're telling you just go to your account and change your password. So it's you see that's a real one. It's not a fake one. That's happening there. Old Radio Man, nice to have you on board from Northeast Tennessee. Catalan, Perry Island, south of Alaska. No, Perry Island in the northwest part of Montreal. Leo S, nice to have you here, Leo from California. Philip Doherty, nice to have you on board from Ireland. My first news says Facebook page rocks. Northern Dawn, nice to have you on board. Says not done much radio stuff after a couple of weeks, getting back into it. It's it's nice sometimes to take a break. When you come back, it kind of feels better. It feels good suddenly. Spirit Crosswind, nice to have you here. And for GSB and some activity on 6 meters, 5175. There I was looking at, there seems to be a little bit of activity on yeah. There's some activity on Super Bowl channel 27025 or channel 6. So there's some skip going on right now. Wannabe sad to report, but Simba the cat has cancer and doesn't have much time left. Was awesome companion. Oh man, that's so sad. Here's to Simba. Let's hope he doesn't suffer too much. I was telling a friend that asked me about Paul the cat because we're not really sure what age he is, and even the vet doesn't seem to know. And Paul the cat will have been here 5 years in June. On June 18th, Paul will have showed up for the first time 5 years ago. It's incredible, 5 years. So, and I was outside in the balcony when he showed up, and it was like, wow, where are you coming from, man? So 5 years, and he probably had a few years. So, I was thinking he probably has 8 or 9 years, 8 or 9 years old, probably, But sometimes when I look at him, I wonder, I think, maybe he could be older than I think. And one of my friends asked me, he says, well, you're going to be sad when he goes away. And I said, of course, I'm going to be really sad when Paul the cat goes. But I said, what comforts me in there is that all the years he's been here, I'm pretty much convinced that he will have had a very happy cat life. At least, that will be the comforting part for sure. CJ, nice to have you here. No, I'm not a ham operator. Eventually. David KJ4CMY, nice to have you here. Craig says, remember being in Montreal in the 80s and couldn't believe the humidity. Oh, yeah, it's crazy here. And imagine, in the summertime, it's hot and humid. But imagine how it is when it's cold and humid. It's crazy because it feels colder than it actually is. Stephen Wood said, hit the beach today. Good distance, no problems. Cool. William Helms, nice to have you here from Florida. Kathleen, MIRC was a big thing back in the day. Is it still running? Yep. IRC chat rooms are still open. You can still go to the internet relay chat. MIRC was the software a lot of people used. But there are some, because MIRC isn't free, but there's some online web pages that are gateways to IRC chat. But the IRC chats are still going strong. The last time that I went to an IRC chat is several years ago, but maybe 4 years ago. And it's still a thing. It's kind of interesting. You would have thought that with the way websites work today and all of that IRC would have gone away, but no. And it still works in the same way, and create channels, and you search for channels and stuff, and it's kind of funny. Glenn says, remember IRC channels. Eric Cottrell says, Canada, the frozen wasteland. Yeah, pretty much. We all live in igloos. Isn't it obvious? This is an igloo. I'm wearing a t-shirt to pretend that it's warm. Matt says, when my family took a vacation through the Northeast when I was 13, it was my first exposure to humidity. And Montreal was the hottest and most humid place on the trip, save for St. Louis. Oh, yeah, it is. That's why I love summer, but I'm not a fan of summer because of the humidity and the heat. And when it's like 30 degrees and 75% humidity, I stay inside. I stay inside in the air conditioning and don't go out. In the last few years, we've had some really, really hot summers too. It was crazy hot. It was so hot 3 years ago. It was so hot that I have. So, if I really wanted to, I have a industrial air conditioning in the back shed. And when I say industrial, it is made for cooling a business. And I don't use it because it's too heavy and so complicated to install. We need to be like 3 guys just to take it up and put it in the window and install it properly. And so, I never used it pretty much because of that. But 3 years ago, 3 years ago, we had a series of days that it was like 35 Celsius plus every single day for at least a week and a half with tons of humidity. It was so hot that the regular air conditioning that I have right now could not cope with the heat. They weren't actually working. I would turn on air conditioning and the temperature would still rise in the house. I was like, wow, okay, they just can't cope with that. So I took out that air conditioning and I did a temporary install. So I put it in the front balcony and the patio door, and I put a really big cardboard box to block the rest of the patio. And I turned that thing on at, I don't know, at like 9 in the morning, and I had to go for something all day. I thought, that thing's gonna maybe cool down the place a bit, but I wasn't expecting that to be that great because it's a pretty big area to cool down here in my house. I had left it at 19 degrees Celsius on the thermostat. When I came back home around 8 p.m., it had run for almost 12 hours. So outside it was still like 33, 34 degrees and like really crazy hot. When I came in, it was like coming in the fridge. It was so cold that I was like, okay. And I remember Paul, the cat, usually sleeps on the chairs, but sometimes, in the wintertime, for example, when it's cooler, he sleeps under the if I leave a drape or anything there, or he goes under it. When I came home, he was under, and I was like, oh, okay, I think it's a little cold. And so that thing is crazy, crazy good. But, I used it for that period of time because it really worked well. I haven't used it since, usual 30 degrees, the air conditioning I have is enough. So I got two air conditioning. I got one here in the office, and it points through the door, so it goes all through the house. And there's one in the bedroom. So both together, usually they keep the temperature okay. Tron says, Norway, hooray. Glenn, did I ever get on BBS? Absolutely. I mean, I was a big fan of BBSs. I would, on my Commodore computer, I would, every day I had a run of maybe 10 different BBS that I would go to and post messages and go to GTs, get-togethers. That was kind of a cool time. And I remember when I got my Commodore 128, I found it really cool because I had the RGB monitor, so I could have 80-column text, and I could use. There was a BBS terminal program that actually was compatible with what was most of the standard back then. There was like the ANSI kind of IBM ANSI type code that was kind of the standard code for BBSs and text and stuff. And I was so happy to have the 80 columns because it would show me the pages correctly, Sweet time. I'm waiting for something for my Commodore. I saw that on eBay. There's a guy in Yugoslavia. Well, not Yugoslavia, but kind of Serbia or something. That is selling it's a custom-made cartridge that you put in the back of the Commodore 64. And it has something like 150 Commodore games on it. So it was like 25 or 30 US dollars. When I saw it, I was like, okay, I got to have that. I'll have 150 games on the Commodore 64 here. Or Commodore 128, but it has Commodore 64 mode in it. Rufus Newt says, last week we had 2 days that were less than 10. This week, nothing less than 25. Yeah, same here. I don't remember. I don't remember what day, but there was a day last week that it was like 7 or 8 Celsius in Montreal. I was like, what the hell is this weather? It's supposed to be 20 at least at this time of year. VT Radio, nice to have you here, Paul. AA1SU from Essex Junction, Vermont. And closing hours recently cut from 5 p.m. to 3 p.m. Wow. JD Williamson, nice to have you here from the Netherlands. Steve Rachel, nice to have you on board, Steve, from the Pacific Northwest, San Juan Islands, KB0SRE. Paige Master, nice to have you here from Moore, Oklahoma, WA5136SWL. KC5VOY, nice to have you here. Mika Delmage, nice to have you on board from a +4 Celsius Shortwave Park. Not a happy camper. Can't wait for the +21 Sunday. Wow, +4, that's gold. Graham Taplin, nice to have you here, my friend from Milton, Ontario, Canada. Hey, Kadarius, Paul is the boss and he is king. Loyal Hayes, nice to have you on board, getting more humid in Panama City. Richard Berter, nice to have you here. Kidro Hoti, nice to have you here from Finland. Ricardo Silva from Portugal. How can I send you a bottle? You can't. Unfortunately, Ricardo, you can't really send alcohol through mail here because we have strict rules. So it's gonna block. I don't think anybody could send me alcohol in some way because it's going to be stopped at the border. Bobby Burgess going to get dinner. No problem. No problem. What else do we have? Jim and Robert Milligan. Alberta just recently reopened some places or businesses. Anything reopen in Montreal yet? Yeah, like I said, stores, retail stores that have a door on the street are going to reopen on Monday. But Montreal is going to be a very slow process. We're the worst place in Canada, so I mean it's going to be complicated. But Delva 65, nice to have you on board from New York City. You know what? I was watching. I like to watch live streams from different cities around the world. And yesterday, I had not watched that stream for a while. There's a 4K. Actually, they have 4K camera there, but it's really HD. They have the some New York City cams, and I started watching the cams yesterday, and there was one from Central Park, and man, I remember seeing that camera, the way that it's placed, and seeing all the traffic and all the people crazy around New York City, and I was looking at it yesterday, and it's like, wow, amazing quiet city suddenly. It was like, I usually there's so many people, it's crazy. Yesterday, I think we could count like 7 or 8 people walking, and that's it. It's crazy. Spirit Crosswind, do I listen to Pirates? Absolutely. I love listening to Pirates all the time. It's one of my favorite activity, chasing the pirates and listening to the different pirates that are on the air. Sheldon Harvey, nice to have you here from Greenfield Park, Quebec. Legion says beaches are open here in Germany. We'll spend some days at the North Sea in 1 week. Cool. Andy Coley, nice to have you here. Audrey's Auto Crafter's Kitchen. There is a Facebook issue from the phone app. Will say that it's having problems when in fact it posts multiple times. Yeah, it's not just the phone app. It's Facebook itself, because I posted on my PC and it gave me that same error message. There's an issue on Facebook. Jean-Marc Letz, nice to have you on board. Bonjour et bienvenue de France. What do we have? Catalan, sorry for the off topic. How can I connect 3 HDMI monitors to a Sony Vaio 2011 with 1 HDMI port? Tried the USB to HDMI adapters, and they are bad. 3 HDMI monitors with 1 HDMI port. Oh, wow, that's a good question. You need to have one of those. There are out there, and if I remember well, boxes that are like live HDMI. So HDMI standard requires a handshake between the devices. What happens is you have one device. You want to split that so it can be seen on 3 screens. What happens is you need to have a box that creates its own HDMI signal so that the screens show it and accepts one input that it splits. I've seen such a box. I don't remember the name they give it, but it's like a live box. So when it's like, if you don't plug the HDMI in it, it still maintains your screen open because it's sending out something with it's black screen, but it's sending the signals and the handshake to keep the screens alive. And what it does is it gets that HDMI that you're sending it and splits it to the 3 screens. We had that for the karaoke bar that I go to. We had to buy such a box because the karaoke bar has 4 or 5 screens, and we had to show the words from the PC on all screens at the same time. And so we had to find such a box. So the box itself is really a box that is a live box that maintains the screens, and it splits whatever you're sending to it. The ones that you'll find are probably ones that have multiple inputs. So what they do is they split it through 3, 4, 5 screens, but you'll see that it has composite input, S-video input, HDMI input. You just use the input that you want. But there is a box out there that does that. But you can't use standard splitting devices. They don't work well. And USB video out to these screens is not a good idea. USB is not giving HDMI quality. It's rather bad going through USB to do this. But look at that. There is a box out there that does that. Yeah, you know what, Stephen Wood? That's what he told me, but the vet couldn't tell. He doesn't seem to know how to tell, at least. Maybe my vet is not good. I don't know. Steve Miller, nice to have you here from Arizona. Received a replacement RAM for his ICOM R71A installed and receiver working well. Cool. Simon Templar, nice to have you on board, my friend. Legion says, although summers are getting hotter and hotter in Germany, air conditioning in private houses is very rare. Yeah, not here. Here it's a standard thing. Almost everybody has air conditioning now, especially since the air conditioning's prices have been going down so much. You can have air conditioning for a room for like $99. So they're so inexpensive, and electricity here in Quebec is rather cheap. So it doesn't, it showed when I installed both air conditioning, I saw a difference on my electricity bill, but it was like, I don't know, it bumped it up maybe 10 or $15 a month. What else we have? Catalan, yeah. Yeah, the SDR Uno 1.4. Is it released, or is still in a release candidate? Yeah, it's funny because, I was telling you guys how how SDR Play checks the stuff that I talk about, and they came back to me the next day of the live show on Wednesday when we were talking about SDR Play and the version 1.4 of SDR Uno, and it was interesting because he wanted to know that I knew about 1.4 that he was sorry not to tell me earlier and so on, but it's release candidate, so I'm not going to install it. And actually, he also kind of told me, you know what, you're better off not installing it now because it probably has bugs. Release candidates are still not official versions; they are test versions, so they could be buggy. So I'm going to wait. I'm going to wait until it's officially released. David Robert Milligan, what's your review of the Texan PL 880? All I keep hearing, I don't have one, but all I keep hearing is that they are really good radios. So if you get one, I'm pretty sure you're going to be happy. Dejan says, I really appreciate your new series of videos with histories about QSLs. Thanks. I'm going to do more. I did only one yet with the Radio Austria QSL and the memories that go with it. And I've got a lot of those coming. So hope that you guys enjoyed that series for sure. And PLF Radio and great videos for shortwave for beginners. And there's going to be a lot more coming. I mean, I'm barely starting the shortwave for beginners series. A lot of them will have demonstrations that I will be showing officially how to do stuff. Because I know a lot of people are asking for all sorts of things. I asked a question on the shortwave group about what you guys would like me to talk about on that series. So I got a big list of ideas now. There's some stuff, it's kind of delicate because it's really, kind of complex, or there are some stuff that it's kind of, it's not part of a beginner series. Anyways, I'll make the sense of all the requests that I got and stuff, and I'll be making those videos. So there's a lot more coming on these videos. I want to ramp up and try to have. I'm trying to get a beat of a certain number of videos on the Shortwave channel every day. And the funniest part is there's a guy that's been complaining that I post trash videos all the time, and he's been sending all of these requests of my videos being bad, and I was like, what the hell are you doing? Some people don't have life, so I guess. What else do we have? Mr. Lucky Train, nice to have you here from southeastern Pennsylvania. Stephen Wood says 2 days ago was scraping off ice on the wheel shield, and today it's the beach. Yeah, that's northern life for you. Djan is WRMI coming in on 15770. Oh, Page Master, yeah, I didn't answer back. I saw your email. It does look like an encrypted radio teletype from what I see. Really sounds like and looks like an encrypted radio teletype, Page Master. Page Master has been active on 20 meters. I will be on tomorrow morning, weather permitting. Cool. Charles, nice to have you here, Charles. Just got UTC readout on my smartwatch watch face. Cool. Would you keep the hashes? Oh man, I would. I'd find a place for the hashes that I know that if I want to do and go and have a little moment, I know where I send the ashes or something. I don't know. Personally, I would maybe not even say anything and put the ashes, like, in the backyard here, and just would be like, this was your home, so you're at home. Trond, did you appear on Ham Radio Crash Course a while ago? Nope. Syria Noello, nice to have you on board. Brent from Brockville, Ontario, Canada. Marlon Enriquez, KC1EHW. Funny part is there are some shows out there. One of them is Ham Nation. Somebody sent me a link and said, hey, they're using some images from your YouTube channel. And I looked at the Ham Nation show, and yeah, they had used some of the images from my YouTube channel. I don't mind. I wished they would have said, well, this comes from the official SWL channel, but I don't really care. Mr. Lucky Train, when is that ham license going to become a reality? Yeah, I know. I know you guys want me to start the official ham channel. You guys want me to have the license because you all want me to have the official ham channel. James de Calais. Bonjour. Nice to have you here. What else do we have? Let me check it out here. Is that the device? So it should... Okay, it's powered. It's officially powered. Yes, this really looks like what we are using at the karaoke bar. So it needs to be a powered device. So that is powered because I see the power cable is there. It really does look like that. But let me just see it here. 1x4 port, 4K, 2K, 30 hertz, 3D fold, and distributor. One input for outputs. It does really look like that. The only thing is it was more expensive than that. But so they got the splitter for 2, for 4, and for 8 screens here. Or maybe because we purchased the one with 6 or 8 ports. That's why the one we used was more expensive. Because yeah, that looks like it pretty much. That really does look like it pretty much. That splitter thing. Lee says, you're right, Joe. I have a Commodore 64 on RetroArch. The games are cool and the database is huge. Yep, absolutely. I played my first video games. Well, I played the first video games on the Atari 2600. But, and I had Pong. I had that little Pong with the 2. I even had the gun, a duck hunt or something it was called. And then you would cheat. You just put the gun on the screen directly, and it would always shoot the duck. But that was cool. That was so cool. Catalan, thank you, but I want to extend the displays. So if you want to extend the displays, that is very different. Because extending the display without a dedicated second graphics controller, it's not going to work. You need a laptop or a device that has more than one. Your laptop, doesn't it have an VGA? Catalan, do you have a VGA? If you have a VGA, because that's what I do in the living room, I have a computer on two screens, my TV and another screen. And what I do is one screen's on VGA, the other screen is on HDMI. Now that counts as two screens, and the graphics card sees two different displays. But what you're trying there is almost impossible. Having an extension of the screen with one HDMI, your graphics card isn't made for that. And what's happening is that what you're going to run to as a problem also is to extend the screens. Your graphics adapter needs to have enough memory, RAM memory, to actually be able to lay out the screens. If it wasn't meant for more than one screen, it might not be capable of doing it. Mark Cope, WJHR 15555. Let's check it out here. 15555. Yeah, it's not very strong, but it's there. Oh man, my back hurts. You know when you're too old and you stretch in bed in the morning and you just like break something? That's what happened to me today. I just did like stretch like this, and then, oh God, something bad is happening, and I stopped. Now I'm half an ache from there up to the tip of my fingers. Oh man, that's getting old for you. Jeff King says the PL880 fantastic radio, and I've matched it to the CC Skywave SSB. Don Warner, nice to have you here, Don. Brian Penny adopted a nearly mint condition Panasonic RF4900. It arrived today, a sentimental purchase. I wanted one in 1980 but couldn't afford it. Ah, man. These are so beautiful. So beautiful. I love these old radios. Man, they were nice. David P. Miller, nice to have you on board from Cherry Hill, New Jersey. On TV with the Fire TV. Cool. Mr. Lucky Train, could you please give us the full name, model of the mic you're using? I looked on Amazon for what I thought you said last time, but can't find it. By the way, did it come with the stand? Yes, it comes with the stand, and let me just see if I can not break anything and quickly do a magic trick. No, not too bad. I didn't break too much stuff. So, because the box is still here. So, here we go. Okay. So this is what I have. It comes with a stand. It comes with everything you need. It's USB. And so it's the Mahono podcasting microphone kit. It's the AU-A04 model. So this is what I got, and it sounds great, and I'm so happy with this purchase. Did I leave anything in the box? Nope. Everything's all right here. So really, it's plug and play, and it just immediately when you plug it, everything detects it and wants to use that instead. Really, really nice. iMapper, nice to have you here from Moscow, Russia. PageMaster's been on a chase for Parks on the Air. 5 more to go for a Bronze Hunter Award. That's cool. You know, it's kind of the fun thing when you go into awards and try to get into, you know, having that award. It makes you want to try and hear, you know. Reminds me of the 80s when I was member of the Radio Budapest Shortwave Club. You know, you had to send a certain number of reports every like, you know, once a week or something for a certain amount of months. But it was 6 months, and then you'd be, even radio. What was it? Radio Bulgaria had certificates. If you'd send in reports for 3 months, 6 months, a year, whatever, they had all sorts of certificates to have you write in all the time. I wish I would have been more serious. I was not serious enough. When I was a teenager, I was like, it's okay. I was more in the, because I had started the one with, I think it was Radio Bulgaria. They had a bronze, silver, and gold certificate. And I remember I had started for the bronze, and it was automatic. You'd get the bronze, and if you continued, then you'd get the silver and the gold. And I started after 2 weeks. I was like, the hell with it. But today I looked back and I was like, come on, man, you had only that to do. You should have done it. How long does it take to make a reception report once a week? Dijon, what is the last paper QSL you received, and what is the last report you wrote? So the last report I did write, and I still remember, is Radio Argentina al Exterior about a year ago, and did not receive anything. And I should maybe try again. The last paper QSL that I got, I'm not totally sure, but I think it's WRMI. I think that is the last QSL that I received, and it's been a couple of years now. I have not done reports and received paper QSLs in a little while now, and sometimes I think about it and I'm like, oh man, maybe I should write to stations, let them know I'm listening, and get a few more QSLs. It's been a long time. Esteban from the Canary Islands, nice to have you on board, my friend. What else do we have? Kathleen Halb, how did the gun work? I know it has IR infrared diode, but did not understand how the console knew when the gun is pointed at the bird. Yeah, it worked with the it worked on the scan line. So a TV would have scan lines all the time. It would scan continuously so that your screen is always lit. We don't see it on a CRT, but it actually, there's a gun going on the screen, an electronic or electron gun sending electrons on the screen constantly, and it scans the screen constantly. And what it actually did as a technology is that it would be able to kind of match the scan lines of the TV, and it would know if you're pointing at that little object that was a little dot, actually, or a little square. But it was working with the scan line. It would read the scan lines of the TV. So it would technically know you're pointing in the correct spot on the screen because of the scan lines. And you just put the gun on the screen, and then you would just be fooled. It was always working. But it was kind of fun. With some friends we were playing with, had a 20-inch black and white TV for that back then. There were no colors. It was just little bars, and it was black and white. So we didn't need any color TV to play that. David in Barcelona, nice to have you on board. Eric Cottrell says some Lenovo laptops will allow extending the display, but you need to use a docking station. PageMaster, at work, a pilot asked me what is the difference between a passive and active antenna. Well, it's pretty simple. Passive antenna doesn't have any parts except just like, a wire is a passive antenna. it receives a signal, doesn't amplify it, doesn't do anything except just drive it to the radio. Where a active antenna is an antenna that has electronic circuits to amplify and send that signal, that amplified signal to your radio. So a long wire is a passive antenna. A MLA30 loop is an active antenna. Rodolfo 65, some emergency action messages on 11.175. I haven't heard one of those in such a long time. I'm going to try to... Oh, man, like, it hurts. Kathleen says, I have a VGA, but they are on purpose placed close to each other so that you can't use them both at the same time. So NVIDIA GT425M, yeah. That means you could have two screens, but more than two screens is going to be very, very difficult. Gentleman Robert Milligan, have you ever heard 6030 CFVP in Calgary? They only run 100 watts. Never. Never. Have they come back? Because they were off the air. And I read a post, I think was on Glenn Hauser's World of Radio group, where somebody said that they were waiting for the snow and the water to recede to go and do some repairs to put it back up on the air. So I don't know if they're on the air now. But no, I've never received CFVP in Calgary. Hi, Mapper. Fantastic quality of picture and sound in your studio. Thank you very much. What else do we have? Thanks, Eric Cottrell, for Tom the Xer. I just got an RSPDX. I've heard SDR console is easier to learn, use than SDR Uno. Can you recommend on that? Can you comment on that? No, it's not. It's as difficult to learn SDR console than SDR Uno. They are both software that require patience and hours of use. For me, SDR console is as complicated as SDR Uno. Personally, I think it all comes down to when you get used to the software at some point. I would say. Tom the Xer, I had an AirSpy Discovery, but after using it 2 times, the SMA connector broke. Waiting to hear if it can be repaired, so I figured I'd try the RSPDX. Okay. Huh. You know what, Liam? He's asking, do you ever run that radio under the clock? That radio scanner, the Pro 2006. Actually, I was looking at it yesterday. I think it was yesterday or the day before. And I was thinking about, you know what? You need to take that thing off of there and plug it in and use it and listen to analog stuff. It's not even plugged. It's not worked in probably a year. And it's a great scanner. I need to have it running again. What else do we have? Anything else? Yeah, moving dots. Of course, cats like to watch Pong. It's funny because Paul the cat doesn't seem to be interested in anything on the screen. I don't know. He's not attracted to it for some reason. PageMaster, speaking of QSL cards, I have 355 more on the amateur side. I do have 10 QSL cards from international broadcasting stations, 3 from utility stations, and 1 from pirate station. Cool. Hubert Major, bienvenue et bonjour. Nice to have you here. Happy weekend. Commodore 1976. I think SDR console versus SDR Uno boils down to personal choice. Both are great software, but most people will like one over the other. Oh, for sure. For sure. I personally like SDR Uno better. I came back into SDR console V3 in the past couple of weeks because I'm playing around with the RTL SDR V3 with it. And, I mean, one thing that I find, because I used it with HDSDR software, and I used it with SDR console V3. SDR console V3 does have better audio out of the SDR, just like SDR Uno has good audio. And that's where I need to take time to make videos that explain the basics of SDR Uno, and I know a lot of people would appreciate that. I've seen some SDR Uno videos that are nice for explaining stuff, but far from being easy to understand to a beginner. And that's maybe where I should kick in and make videos. I need to make a playlist and make videos SDR Uno for sure. But like I said, it all boils down and how much time do you have on your hands to do stuff? And if you would see my life and all that I do in a week, you would be surprised that I could still do so much. So, but I really need to take the time and do some videos for SDR Uno. I know it's going to help a tremendous amount of people. And I know that SDR Play, one of the things they'd like is that I would also do these videos because I know that they would appreciate having somebody explain to the newcomer to the hobby how it works and how to, go around and play around with your SDR Play device. But like CamXZ 1976 says, you know what? It's a very personal. Most choices of what software you use for your SDR is very personal. Honestly, it's very personal. I like SDR Uno. It's not that I hate SDR console. It's V3. It's a nice piece of software. It's very complete and very complex. But I don't like the layout necessarily. I like the layout of this more. But yeah, there's a learning curve. SDRs are definitely, there's a learning curve there. And if you're not super tech savvy, well, it adds a layer of difficulty. Brian Penny, I've programmed my Pro 2006 with all the local ham repeaters, all frequencies. There's always activity. That's what I want to do. I want to take it out and put it in a place that when I'm in my office and I want to listen to what's happening on the analog stuff, rather than having to take out my, icon, my CR20, 30 or whatever, I just turn that on and listen, What else do we have? PLF Radio are still using HDSDR. Less and less. I've started moving away from HDSDR. And mostly for the audio side of things. I noticed how SDR console processes the audio so much better. Calvin, nice to have you on board, my friend. And he's rearranging the shack. Cool. Yeah, SMA connectors, Tom the Xer, by the way, are very delicate. And any device that uses these small connectors, you have to, I screw the connector antenna, but I don't tighten it. I just screw it until I feel slight pressure and I stop. I don't go further than that. I even sometimes don't even go all the way because they are extremely, extremely sensitive and easy to break. So, and man hands are a problem when I'm one of those that breaks stuff because I do have a lot of strength in my hands. And I don't know how many times I broke something because I just tightened it too much. So be careful. SMA connectors are very delicate. And be careful with any wire, any coax that is linked, like on the MLA30, for example. Somebody was telling me that his MLA30 had a problem with his the wire breaking. These are cables that you got to be careful not to step on. If you have it through a window, don't close the window too tight because you're going to break that wire. They're really, really delicate. So you got to be careful and handle them with care. So. Take care, Acadarius. Lee Burkett uses 20s and experimental SDR. Huh, interesting. Page Master, I like the SDR Uno. Very easy to work with and easy to play around with. It's a question also of there's kind of a logic that happens with using these software. And sometimes one software is easier to kind of go through. My take on SDR software, because let's face it, anybody out there that is thinking of getting into a software-defined radio, PLF Radio, take care. Fais attention à toi. À la prochaine. What you got to know is you're using a computer to control a radio, and I think there are different steps you got to think of when you use SDR. First of all, is using a computer for you something that you are good with or not? Because one of the biggest problems with SDRs is you'll be using a computer all the time. If you're not good with computers, if computers create a headache for you all the time, I think you should stay away from an SDR because it's just going to add to your headaches. Not because it's necessarily going to cause problems or anything, but because you're going to have a hard time having it work and using it. When I was a tech guy for 15 years, one of the things that I saw the most was that when people say my computer isn't working right, I would replace that phrase very often with your computer's working right. You don't know what you're doing, and it's different. And so people will complain and say, well, I think my Windows has, the number one thing. I think I got a virus. My friends tell me I got a virus. Okay. Then you go there and it's like, look at that. There's a pop-up there. Yeah, it's because you're clicking here and it does that. But it's not supposed to be there. It is because you're clicking here. You shouldn't be doing it like that. You should be doing it like this. And that is so common, so much more common than we think, that it's not for everybody. SDRs are not for everybody. There's a subset of people that, if it is too complicated to operate. And we're talking about people that could be ham radio operators that have these big fancy radios. But there's a difference between a big fancy radio with the buttons and a big fancy radio with a screen. It's different. It's the same, but it's different at the same time. because you add that computer side to it. So you gotta be careful. David replaced the RG174 on both the MLA 30 and 30 Plus with BNC panel mount connector and AirCell low loss coax. Cool. Mike WDX50. Nice to have you here from Arkansas. La prochaine fois, Dijon. Eric Cottrell, an exception is an SDR-based radio that presents a classic radio interface to the user like the icon. Yeah, but the thing is when people will see an ICOM IC or R8600, because it has the buttons, even though it does have that screen, it's not presented in the same way. It's not a computer for them. Even though it is a computer, the R8600 is a computer-based radio. But they add that panel with the buttons and stuff. It kind of makes a lot of people kind of relax. It's like, oh, I don't have to use a computer. Well, you are, but you don't realize that you are using a computer. Mike WDX50 says, I've been a tech for 21 years. I should be able to use a SDR. Maybe I should get one. If you've been a tech for 21 years, you probably are okay using an SDR. And then, the visual aspect of the SDR. One of the things, I rant all the time about how multi-PSK is such a bad interface and almost impossible to go through. And I always go crazy trying to find one single mode in the buttons on the screen. So imagine I have that difficulty. So imagine somebody that is not very tech savvy. He's going crazy and sure that it's not there. I still remember going to a client and she looks at me and she says, I don't have my recycle bin. And I point to the screen. It's like, well, it's there. Well, it wasn't there yesterday. Must have been. It's there today. It was there yesterday. And she tells me, she says, no, sometimes it's not there. So I tell her, I said, okay, we're going to shut down and restart the PC 10 times. Let's give the benefit of the doubt that some glitch makes the recycle bin disappear magically. And all 10 times it's there. And she's like, well, it wasn't there yesterday. And the amount of times that I've seen people not seeing something on the screen, it happens today. I got a couple of friends that was, I think it was at Christmas. People were over and the computer was on in the living room because we put YouTube videos of Christmas music. And there would be always someone with, I don't find how to do this. Well, it's there. It's like, oh, wasn't there earlier? Yeah, it was there. It's always there. It's my PC. And I know that it's been there since the PC is installed on the living room. So imagine taking that side where you don't really see the screen, because a lot of people have that problem. You focus on that part of the screen when the screen is this big. I don't see it. Yeah, it's here, but you're looking here, but it's here. I have developed that look around the screen thing. So when somebody asks me, where's that thing? Oh, it's there. Wow, I never saw it. Yeah, because I look at all the screen when you're asking something. So imagine, if you have that type of difficulty, using a SDR is going to be a problem, because you'll focus on something and you're not going to see the other stuff. Plus, take a software like SDR Uno. I like it, but there's a lot of features. Every single, so all the modules are separated here. I mean, this is a module with all the possibilities of turning on and off the other screens or other modules. So if I go here, whoops, Cortana, I don't want to have Cortana. If I go here and I start clicking on, different panels, it makes you appear or disappear some of the panels. So you got a panel with the frequency. You got a panel with the audio on the upper right corner. That's the way I set it up. You've got, of course, the major panel at the bottom with the waterfall. But all of that is not in that order or that way of doing when you start it up. You got to set it up with your screen. And if you use multiple screens, then you might want to use the main screen for, I don't know, if I'd have two screens here, I would use the main screen for, I don't know, HF Underground and EIBI Space and stuff that I need as tools, as information to tune around for my SDR. And I'd like to have those separate. So then if you want to take that screen, move the screen to the other screen, and you get a drift. For a lot of us, and for someone like me, it's super easy to do. But you cannot say that it's easy because it's not for a big chunk of people. There's a lot of people out there that is super complicated. I don't know how many people. One of the top questions for SDR Uno is how do I save my workspace so that when I actually start SDR Uno, it always is the same. There are so many questions like that. It's they've made it a little better because now there's on the main panel, there's a thing called Save WS, which is WS for workspace. If you click that button, I'm going to click it here, brings up the panel. You have workspace 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, but you have default workspace in that menu that pops up. Well, if you click default workspace, that's the main space that you have every time you actually start SDR Uno. So what you need to do is position all the little modules the way you like it, then save as a default workspace. And what it does, and that's what I did. So here it says save. So here, let's save it like this, default workspace. It says it's saved. Now let me just get out of the software. And once I'm out of the software, I'm going to go back into SDR Uno. So I saved the space. That means that if I start SDR Uno, SDR Uno will start exactly like I want it. And that's the way that I saved it. Well, this might sound, for a lot of you out there, you're like, well, that's simple stuff. It's not for a really big majority of people using SDR Uno. It's a mystery, and it's something you got. They made that button. Before that button, there was that cryptic saving workspace, a bunch of keys that you'd mash together on your keyboard. It's not easy for everybody. We got to understand that, because it is not easy for everybody to do so. We really, really need to understand that, for sure. So let's tune. What should I tune? So here I'm on medium wave. Let's go to there's a BBC 11810 12095. It's not very strong, but it's there. So it's little details like this, but man, it's not easy for everybody, and we got to understand that. Lee Burkett says, when you are using SDR, it also helps when you know the frequencies and the country transmitting. It's a great learning curve. There's a learning curve in everything. There's a learning curve of schedules, and one of the shortwave for beginner videos that I did, trying to explain that knowing where things are, having a basic knowledge of where the international broadcast bands are, having a basic knowledge of where the amateur radio bands are. Once again, that's another area. You look at it. When you look at it, it's a knowledge you need to have. I don't know, how long did I think before I understood where international broadcast bands were? I go crazy, when you think all of the different frequency ranges that are available, and I know by heart today. People are amazed because they gave me a frequency. What's on that frequency? It's like, oh, that's that station. The other day it was on a Facebook group. I'm hearing something on 6501 and on 6754. I think it's both are from Canada. It was like, no, 6501 is Chesapeake, Virginia marine weather. 6754 is Trenton military in Ontario. And I got an email like 10 minutes later. It's like, did you look that up? No, I know it by heart. I listened to shortwave and tuned the band so much that I'm in a walking encyclopedia of frequencies. I'm a walking database. The only frequencies I don't remember are the ones that change, every schedule season. I will remember them at some point, but then the next season arrives. So, it's crazy. And, there's all the knowledge around it. You got to know. And the basic knowledge, like I said, when I started in 1982, I probably for a while just tuned around everywhere. And by chance would run into the international broadcast bands until I probably had the knowledge or remembered by heart where the international broadcast bands are situated, So it's something that, you look at, and it's knowledge. It's like every hobby, there's a lot to learn. And you got to take the time to learn it if you are really interested in a hobby and want to make sure that you're going to enjoy the hobby, That's for sure. Eric Cottrell says, yeah, that's the point. The UI is similar to what people have used before. Exactly. So it's a different thing, I'm not saying try 20 SDR. Well, I'm not going to the 20 SDR. I got my own SDR here on my home here in Montreal. 20 SDR is a nice SDR. Did they fix the antenna? Is it back to its normal workings? Eric Cottrell, I agree with the multi-PSK. It's a Visual Basic 6 interface run amok. It's totally, it's that interface is just totally, totally crap. Comanche 76 recycle bin must have been playing hard to get. Dijon, have you ever had one of those scam calls from India saying your PC was hacked? Yeah. Actually, on the tech channel for a couple of years, I had the live show. And I remember the phone ringing once while the live show is going. And I remember telling everybody at the live show, I sincerely hope that this is a my PC has a virus scam because we're going to have fun live on the air. But it wasn't, unfortunately. But I had so many times. One that was just probably, one that I got one day and I was like in a bad mood. And so I get a call and it's a woman. And by the way, for the next 2 minutes, it's going to be a little sensitive and adult content. I just want to warn everybody. So she says, well, we have reports. This is Microsoft, and we have reports of your PC sending, error messages. You have probably a virus. So she starts. So I say, oh, really? Okay. So she says, are you in front of your PC? And, I'm going to ask you to type stuff. So the first thing I tell her is, I will type what you want, but I want to know, do you have big boobs? And there's a pause. And she says, so, sir, are you in front of your PC? And can you get, we'll get the command line. And I said, I'll bring up the command line if you tell me if you got big boobs. And she says, one moment, sir. So it takes maybe 15 seconds. And then there's a man that comes on. And the guy says, hello, sir. We're going to get the command line for you. And I tell the guy, I said, do you have a big penis? And he just hung up. At least it gave me a smile on my face on that day. Oh, man. What else? Are there radios with DRM, says Kathleen? There were a couple of models that existed that are kind of, out there that did exist at one point and that are not there anymore. You can do DRM, with stuff like, old Radio Man says the ELAD as FDM S2 as DRM built in. But a portable radio that with DRM, I've seen a few elusive models here and there, but never anything that was like production unit that we could easily buy or anything. Eric Cottrell, I need to try the new version of SDR Uno to see how the plugin works. I do not use two screens. I use a 37-inch 4K cinema monitor. This is a 32-inch screen here. I have to say, 32-inch is a little, I can't believe, when I was young, we had 20 inches of TV, and it was like, wow. I can't believe we say this today, but 32-inch TV is small for the SDR software. I used it in the living room on a 50-inch TV. Now that is starting to get interesting because that bigger screen means you can easily see more details and more stuff than on a 32-inch. I would not see this. When I run SDR Uno on my laptop, which is a 15-inch screen, forget it. That's way too small. Way too small. It's SDRs are fun with a big screen. It works, but they're fun with a big screen. David in Barcelona says, so far I've only used SDR Sharp with my RSPi HF Plus dual port. I like the powerful noise reduction it includes. Quite powerful and useful to clean weak signals. I'd also like to try SDR console. Should work great too. KA2YNT. Nice to have you here, Todd. Just got the RSPDX. Gonna take some time. Shots and beers with Mr. Paul. Cool. You're gonna have fun. There are great devices. Rufus Newt 11810 is strong in Ontario. Eric Cottrell says Roberts made a radio that received DRM, but I do not know how available it is. I've not seen that. I've seen it here and there on different, I remember seeing it in one magazine. I saw it online at the Shortwave listening blog post, but it's try to find a DRM radio on eBay or Amazon. Forget it; they're not showing up. I don't think any of these radios ever had a really big run of production ever, which is sad. But then, how well do they receive DRM, honestly? Kathleen says, I like the SDR Sharp for showing the military handbands, hairbands. SDR Uno seems to a bit hard to free tune, plus no button for FM bands. Okay. Let me just check it out here. So, yeah, okay, I got bands. When I look at bands, okay, there's ham upper, ham lower. Yeah, okay. Here you see. So what you're saying is Robert, actually, it's not harder to free tune SDR Uno than SDR Sharp. Can you define, Kathleen, a little more what you mean by free tune? Eric Cottrell says, we will be in old age homes just saying frequencies to each other. When I'll be insane in that old age home, they're going to come and give me my pills. And it's like, how are you, Mr. Joe? 5450, Royal Air Force. That's fine, Mr. Joe. 6070 CFRX. SDR Uno. You know how to save the workspace? Oh, God. Or, you just go really insane and it's like 119.9, 119.9. They don't know what it means. It's like, that's the local airport frequency. Nobody understands you except your brain is locked up. You got to laugh about it. Who knows? One day we'll be like that, maybe. Esteban says, on 18th, I had a nice experience with Voice of Vietnam in Spanish. I have an analog radio. I knew that the emission was between two other confirmed stations. I looked for and heard something very weak. Cool. After that, it gets stronger, and I could confirm Voice of Vietnam. It was a great time. Cool. It's fun. That's the fun thing about a radio. There's some searching going around also for all of this, that's for sure. Dejan says, I had a call once, a call like this. I made them log on my virtual machine, wasted 1 hour of their time. I think one time they called and they were getting annoyed that I couldn't do what they were asking, and I said, so at one point I said, so once again, how do I do this on my MacBook? Once again, they hung up. Kevin Jana Paulo, my MLE30 just arrived from Wuhan, China. Ordered 3 months ago and was told it was lost. Carefully opening. Yeah, especially coming from Wuhan. It's, the starting place. It looks like a Simpsons episode when he opens that box from Japan. Degen says, always had to chuckle because of their bad German. Oh yeah, here they were. Here they always call. That was one thing that I would tell my clients, which was nice, is that because most of my clients were French language speaking, I would always tell them they always call in English, never in French, and they cannot speak French. So there was kind of a help there because it was always English calls. Ken Surtees, any thoughts on diversity on RSP Duo for weak stations? You know what? I played around. I can say that I can't say too much here because I have a lot of noise. It's very complicated to test out properly. All I could say is from what I read everywhere from people that use it in really good environments is that apparently it is really, really good. Here, it's kind of difficult to test these things. My noise level is so high that it's crazy. Jim and Robert Milligan got a strong copy of CFRX Toronto on the 17th in Northern Alberta. Cool. Idalmage reminds me when I got a call and went along with them. They told me to type www. I kept saying it did not work many times. When they asked what I type, I said, you. www. Oh, God. Mike Thornton, nice to have you here. WC0L in Kansas. See you next week, Lee. Always nice to have you on board. Jay Watterson 69, nice to have you here. Dejan says here they would call both English and German, but their German was very bad. I never had one that was French, ever. Kamaxi76 says, thanks for the explanation about how to save the workspace with SDR Uno. I was about to ask you how to do that as my windows were getting messed up all the time. Yeah, because every time you boot up software, it always looks like it should be, which is if it's messed up from the beginning, it's always messed up in the same way. So saving the workspace, and that's in the main settings panel, which is the main panel for SDR Uno, where you can switch antennas. That's why I need to make videos, because I know a lot of people are clueless. And I mean, I know what save WS means, save workspace, but honestly, for pretty much everybody looking at that, they're like, what's save WS? What does it mean? You know, you got to know that WS is workspace. Actually, maybe we should tell them, why don't you put the button that says save workspace so that we could see it? That could be, there's a lot of things we can, complain. I mean, it's very hard to make these software. It's hard to make the software. Perfect for everybody. We're all different. We don't see the same things the same way, and it's tough because you've got to please everyone. And it's like Windows. Microsoft gets ranting all the time. It's like, yeah, but you can't please everybody. There are 1 billion users of Windows 10. You're not going to please all of them. That's for sure. And every software is the same. You'll always have people complaining about something. And the software is made by people that often are very advanced, which also means they, very often, the more you are advanced in computers, the less you are capable of really doing something, thinking of the basic user at the bottom that's trying to understand something. Because for you, it's logical. Everything is logical. It's like, well, we'll put it like this. Everybody's going to know. Hey, we're going to know what save WS is. Come on. That comes out the mind of someone that's like, oh, save workspace. Come on. It's easy. Yeah, okay. And unfortunately, there's also that problem. The people doing it at the top, not realizing that the people at the bottom are having a hard time understanding something about it. And that's the tough part of creating software also. Dejan says one thing that was fun too was to close the windows all the time when they were on the PC. Ja, nice to have you here. When are you getting your license so we can rank you on HF? Soon. I know. You guys want me to get the license. I'll get there. Let's try to do it. I'll try to do it. German Robert Milligan says, "Nurse, time for your medication, Mr. Joe." Shell says, "Copy that." You're about an S7 here. Oh man. Did you like your soup? There was too much static. KE2YNT Todd says the manual for SDR Play starts using acronyms and doesn't define them or spell them out enough in the instructions. Needs a primer, not just list of them. Yeah. Yeah, I know, Calvin. That is something that I've been thinking. So you're watching the Shortwave radio show. I hope you're enjoying your time. One thing I wanted to answer. Let me just go back here. So we have So by the way, we have a new email coming from Elizabeth that says, "Ajel, really enjoy your show today." That's a good question. Would a blind person be able to use an SDR on a computer? Is there a way for us to have the controls voiced out? Wow, that is... I have a hard time seeing... I have a hard time, being capable of understanding somebody could use an SDR, with when you are blind. Anybody have experience or something about how that could be, out of curiosity? Because the software isn't made for that, and reading the stuff, I don't think. I don't know. That's a good question. I think, as like on a PC, I know that there's the capabilities of having everything read out loud, the menus and all of that, but I don't think that would be something very easy to do. There would need to be a specialized version of a software for software-defined receivers that would be help people with visual disabilities. And I can't see how any of the software would be used for that. James Farley, emergency action message 8992. Let's check it out here. Anything special? We'll keep it there for a while, see if we hear something. Yeah, that's the thing, Eric. I'm not sure how well the software here would work with a screen reader. I would need to try SDR Uno and use the screen reader and like Windows. Would that work well? It almost would need to be a custom software made especially for that. The radios have that ability, is that a lot of big I know she's using the Kenwood R5000 with the voice module, the voice sensitizer with it, so she's able to know what she's tuning. And I know that some radios have the capability of reading out the frequencies. The ICOM ICR30 portable, it's nice because it has that included in it. I thought was a good idea. It has the reading of the modes and the frequencies you tune in and so on. It tells you what button you press. I think that's a really good idea to have that implemented in the radio itself. But I don't know. It's I would need to put myself in that mode. Try SDR Uno or SDR console. Put the Windows screen reader and see can it operate it or not. That would be kind of interesting. Home plus home. Oh man. So hey guys, I know it's a little short, but I am a little tired of my day today, and I will pull the plug at 2 hours today. And we'll try to I'll be looking at that this weekend. I'll try to make a show on Sunday. Maybe we can make a show around 20. I was thinking of maybe 21 UTC on Sunday. So would a 21 hours UTC show on Sunday make everybody happy? And we'll be able to have a little Sunday night meetup. And if it's not windy, from outside in the backyard. That could be fun. And we'd have another show this week. And Calvin says, I have a few beers. We'll go for a new record. And that's a good idea, Eric. How about a special Pirate Night Sunday? We could start at 21 UT and do a special pirate tuning around. And if it's beautiful outside, maybe do it from outside. I think that'd be very, very cool. And at 21 UT, it's kind of a compromise. It's not too late in Europe. And I think it could be cool. So it was fun today. We talked about software-defined receivers quite a lot. So pretty cool to talk that. We don't extend that much our discussion on that for sure. Will I be in a pirate costume? You know what? I was looking at having a mask for when I go out with little pirates everywhere, like pirate. Either the pirate flag or little pirate boats or something. I'd like that. Or make one with a shortwave radio on it. So hope you get your RSP1A working soon, Rufus. Calvin says I should. So take care, guys. It was nice to have you on board, all of you. It was really cool to be here today. And we will be, there's a pretty good chance we'll be here on Sunday at, mark your calendars for this coming Sunday, 21 hours Universal Time. And we'll chase pirates and have fun with radio as usual. There's the Facebook group. Don't forget, guys, the Facebook group is great for continuing our little meetup here. I'll probably be there. I'm going to install myself, probably be installing my little... I want to take my my good old Grundig satellite transistor 6001 from 1969 and maybe put that up in the backyard and listen to the radio with that. And so if you see a few videos popping up tonight with that good old receiver, you'll know that I took it out for a spin. So stay safe wherever you are, and see you Sunday probably, and see you next week for those that are not going to be there on Sunday. It was really fun to be here. And thanks for today's show, because it showed me that maybe making those videos of understanding how to use SDR Uno would be a really good thing for sure. So we're going to be there soon. So take care, everybody. Love you all. And see you soon, where we talk about radio.